Am I audible? Am I audible, class? Okay. Just sharing the slides and then we'll continue. I think we discussed till necessity in the previous class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll be discussing today's self-defense. I'm just waiting for the PowerPoint to open because there's some issue with the Microsoft PowerPoint. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So today we'll be starting with self-defense as a general defense. Now, self-defense is a very interesting defense because it allows a person to do something in exercise of self-defense so as to the extent that a person can even cause any damage whatsoever, provided it can be justified. Now, the extent of self-defense under law of torts is to the extent of even killing, although killing also comes under murder. But let's assume for the sake of argument that if killing was a tort as well, और हम जब trespass to body पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें एक्चुअल में बैटरी जो होता है, that is basically an infringement in a person on a person's infringement with a person's privacy, and that too of body. Now, so to claim successfully private defense as a defense, there are 4 essentials that need to be fulfilled. First one is imminent threat. The response must be necessary. The response must be proportionate, and no time to take recourse to public authority. We'll discuss them one by one. In order to claim self-defense, following must be satisfied. The first one is that defendant must be under imminent threat. Now, what do you understand by the term imminent threat? What is your interpretation of the word imminent threat? Yes, class.
सर लेफ्ट हो गए क्या?
Just wait. I think I've been able to reconnect, Parthi. Just able to reconnect, although it's not working properly. Let me just share the screen and see whether screen sharing is working or not. Is it visible?
No, sir, not yet.
Not yet.
No, it's coming like PrimeAP one has shared screen sharing. That's all.
Let's wait.
Yes, sir, now it's visible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'll just let's just wait for Komal also to join.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I think she's rejoined. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we were at self-defense. Now there are 4 essentials to invoke self-defense or private defense as a general defense. The defendant must be under imminent threat. The response must be necessary. The response must be proportionate, and no time to take recourse to public authority. So there are 4 essentials. First one is imminent threat, necessary, proportional, and no time to take recourse to public authority. Now, if any of the 4 is not satisfied, then you cannot claim self-defense as a defense. The first is an imminent threat. Now, what is an imminent threat? an imminent threat is a threat which is immediate. तो जो तुरंत आपको ऐसा लगे कि ये अटैक मेरे ऊपर होने वाला है या ये डैमेज मुझे होने वाला है, that is called as an imminent threat. Now, if the threat is not imminent, can you claim self-defense? The answer is a clear no. The reason being that self-defense can only be used when you don't have time to take recourse to public authority, in a sense. Because why? You need to understand one thing. Self-defense is given as defense or is made as a defense as an exception, and it is not a rule. Hence, it must be used in exceptional circumstances only, where no other alternative kind of a situation is possible, apart from taking the law into your own hand. And that is the reason why self-defense as a general defense is available only in exceptional circumstances. Now, suppose, let's imagine a situation. I point a gun at you and I'm about to pull the trigger. Before I could pull the trigger, you pull the trigger, the gun, you take a gun and shoot me down. Can you successfully claim self-defense? Yes, right. The answer is simple. Because there is an imminent or immediate threat, and in such a situation, it is necessary that right of self-defense should be given to the person who is under threat. Now, suppose I'm carrying a toy gun and I point it at you. This toy gun looks exactly like a real gun, and I point it at you, and it creates a fear in your mind, and you end up killing the person. Will this amount to self-defense? Yes, class. Yes, we don't know that it's a toy gun, right? So yes, the moment there is an apprehension of injury, that very moment your self-defense would start. Till what time it will continue? Till what time it will continue? Yes, it will continue till the time threat continues. The moment threat wanes off, your right to self-defense also goes away. Now, there is a very interesting thing which is called as response must be necessary. If the response is necessary, then only the right to self-defense would come into play. Now, what do I mean by that? That it must be immediate and it must be necessary to do so. So, if imagine a situation, I come to a person and I tell him orally that I'm going to kill you if you do not change, or if you do not stop chasing me, for example. I said this, and the other person, what he did, he thought that he will kill me, and he ends up killing me. In this situation, voice is lagging because I think because of the app. Zoom is now, is it clear? Yeah. So suppose I go to a person and tell him that I will kill you if you do not stop chasing me. Now what happens is the other person, thinking that he will kill him, shoots him down. Do you think that this is a case of self-defense? Right? Because there is no imminent threat. That is why the whole principle of self-defense would not apply. It's as simple as that. Now, the response must be proportionate. This is also very interesting and very important too. It says that the response must be proportionate. That basically means that the response that was given must be in proportion to the threat. In simple terms, ईंट का जवाब ईंट से देना है आपको. Now, suppose I go to a person with a lathi in my hand. The other person does not make any attempt to hit me. But before he could hit me, what I did, I end up shooting him. Do you think that is the correct approach? And do you think that the right of self-defense would be given to such a person? Voice lagging again. Okay. Let me repeat. Suppose I take a lathi and I go to a person to hit him, but before I could hit him, the other person shoots me. Now, do you think that the force used is proportionate? No, right. So the answer is pretty clear that since there was no imminent threat, the self-defense could not have been applied. Let us take another situation. मान के चलिए आप ट्रेन में हैं या बस में हैं. You are about to board the bus, and at the time when you are boarding the bus, there is a person, a pickpocket comes, and pickpocket tries to pick your pocket, and उसने जैसी जेब में हाथ डाला पता चला कि भैया जेब में वॉलेट जैसी कोई चीज है ही नहीं, और वो जाने लगा. अब जब आपको पता चला कि वो उसने आपकी जेब में हाथ डाला, तब you end up shooting him. Voice is again breaking. Okay. Acha, there is Prarthi saying no, voice is not breaking. Komal is saying voice is breaking. Okay. I think probably NAT connection, Komal, at your end. Now what happens is, in such a situation, you end up hitting him. क्या ये कहा जा सकता है कि you acted in self defense? Why no, Prarthi? It wasn't a threat to you. Okay. What about you, Komal? The answer is a clear no. Why? Because there is no imminent threat that is continuing. The moment the thief started running, there is no threat anymore which is continuing. Right? So in such a situation, there is no self-defense that is available. So always remember the response must be proportionate. Now, the fourth one is no time to take recourse to public authority. This is very important. It says that there shall be no time to take recourse to public authority. So if there is a situation where you can take recourse from public authority, that means you can go and approach the public authority in order to save yourself, then in that situation, it would be better that you take such recourse, you take help from the public authority, and you don't take law into your hand. Now, suppose I gave a threat to Mr. X saying that I am gonna kill you tomorrow if you don't give me 5 lakh rupees by 12 p.m. tomorrow. Very fine. Suppose you do what? You instead of calling the police, you think कि भाई ये तो मुझे कल मारेगा, एक काम करता हूं मैं आज जाके मार देता हूं इसको. You go and kill him today itself, and then you say that I acted in self-defense. Is it a valid argument? The answer is a clear no, because there is no imminent threat. You need to understand one thing, that how law balances the power. लॉ ने एक तरफ आपको इतनी बड़ी वाइड पावर दे दी that you can even kill a person in self defense, right? And on the other hand, how it has restricted its use by saying that these are the 4 essentials and these 4 need to be fulfilled. If any of the 4 is not fulfilled, then you cannot apply self defense. Am I clear? Fine. Can you repeat once? Okay. I'm saying, Komal, that on one hand, law has given immense power that a person can even kill someone in exercise of self-defense. However, the same is restricted that there are 4 essentials that needs to be fulfilled. If any of the 4 essential is not fulfilled, if even one of the 4 essential is not fulfilled, then also you cannot claim self-defense. Am I clear? The last defense is statutory authority. Now, statutory authority is again a very interesting defense. It is interesting because it gives the government authorities an exemption from any liability if they end up committing a tort during performing a sovereign function. Now, what is a sovereign function? A sovereign function is a function which cannot be delegated to anyone else, which basically means that only the government can do it. For example, running of railways. Can it be given to anyone? Only the government is doing it, right? Similarly, army. Can it be given to private corporates? The answer is a no. So sovereign functions are those functions for which a particular state agency is committed, constituted, and the same is performing a sovereign function. So which basically is a sovereign function वो है जिसको आप delegate नहीं कर सकते, मतलब आपकी जगह वो कोई और नहीं करेगा, right? So if you commit a tort during the exercise or performance of a sovereign function, that means the act for which you were constituted, it would be no offense. Now, let us take an example. Suppose इंडिया का पाकिस्तान से वॉर डिक्लेयर हो गया, एंड ऑर्डर किया कि जयपुर से आर्मी जो है वो मूवमेंट करेगी टुवर्ड्स द बॉर्डर ऑफ राजस्थान विच इज जैसलमेर. नाउ what happened is, on the way to Jaisalmer, they end up killing a person. Killing a person in what sense? They end up committing an accident. Now in such a situation, can a person be held guilty, or rather can a person or the army be held guilty for commission of torts? Okay. Yes, class. The answer is no. Although a tort has been committed, but still the army would not be liable. Why? Because they were performing a sovereign function. Now let's take up another situation. Let's take up another situation. Suppose there is a clock tower in the city which is not being maintained properly, and one day the clock tower falls and it ends up injuring people. Now in such a situation, can the person be held liable? Can the municipal corporation which is responsible for maintaining the clock tower be held guilty for commission of tort? Now, why do you both think that yes, the municipal corporation can be held liable? Okay. Now, the reason being simple that just because you're performing a sovereign function, that does not mean that you can be negligent. If you are being negligent, then you can still be held guilty. Now, let's take up another situation. Suppose एक कलेक्टर है. अब हुआ क्या कि कलेक्टर है, कलेक्टर के पास कार है. कलेक्टर का जो ड्राइवर है वो उसकी कार में पेट्रोल भरवाने गया. And on the way back, when it was coming, it ends up killing killing a person. Now, in this situation, can the state be held guilty, or can the state claim the defense of statutory authority?
So could you repeat?
Okay, so the question is, the facts are clear to you?
Yes, sir.
The question is, can the state, that means the government, can it claim the defense of statutory authority in this situation?
No, sir. Sorry, could you repeat the main question again?
Okay, so the facts are that there was a collector, and the collector had sent his driver for the refueling of his government car. On the way back, when the refueling was done, when the driver was driving the car, he ends up hitting a person. Now that person claim compensation? Now, can the state government, because it was a government car and it was a government driver, so can the government take the defense of statutory authority? No. Very right. Why? Why do you guys say no? Very right, Prarthi. The job which he was doing at the time, which is of refueling and etc., cannot be considered as a sovereign function. That is why the defense of sovereign function would not be available. Now, let us take another situation. Suppose there is a person, he is carrying some gold ornaments. The police captures him and the police captures him and takes away the ornaments as well and keeps them in a custody of the police station. Now, one of the policemen, what he did, one of the policemen took away all those ornaments and went to Pakistan. Now, the person whose ornaments have been stolen, or the person whose ornaments were stolen, can he claim compensation from the government? So you are saying, Prarthi, that the defense of statutory authority or sovereign function would not be available, right? That is what you're saying? Okay. Yes, Komal, what is your opinion? Voice lag. I think, Komal, there is an issue at your end with respect to internet. The question is, suppose there is a Mr. X. Mr. X was carrying some gold ornaments. The police thought that these ornaments are stolen. So they kept the men and the ornaments in custody. In custody, what happened? One of the policemen took away all the jewelry and went to Pakistan. Now, this person, Mr. X, claimed compensation from the government. Can the government take the defense of statutory authority or not? They cannot. And Prarthi, you are also saying that they cannot take the defense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why? Why? Hmm. The answer is it will fall under the category of sovereign function and the police would not be held guilty. Why? Because keeping of the ornaments in the custody is a sovereign function. And that is the reason why the state would not be liable. Right? This is the famous case of Kasturi Lal, wherein this actually happened. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now we'll move on to the specific torts. No, Komal, the government had complete defense. So nothing. Now, yes, but the employee was doing a function that is entrusted to him by law, that no one can else, that no one else can do. Right? Can you clarify? Okay. कोमल, सॉवरेन फंक्शन बेसिकली वो फंक्शन है जो कि आपको स्पेसिफिकली लॉ ने दिया हुआ है, ठीक है, जैसे आर्मी हो गया, पुलिस हो गया, एक्सेट्रा। नाउ अब हुआ ये इस केस में कि आपके पास गोल्ड ऑर्नामेंट्स थे, पुलिस को शक हुआ कि आपने ये गोल्ड चुराया हुआ है। सो आप ले गए, आपको पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया और आप साथ साथ आपके गोल्ड ऑर्नामेंट्स को भी सीज कर लिया। नाउ वन ऑफ द पुलिसमैन टुक दैट गोल्ड ज्वेलरी एंड वेंट टू पाकिस्तान। नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज कि क्या यहाँ पर गवर्नमेंट लायबल होगी? सो द आंसर टू दैट इज नो। व्हाई? बिकॉज पुलिस वाले का सॉवरेन फंक्शन है चेकिंग करना, सामान रखना। अब उसको करते हुए अगर आपसे कोई गलती हो जाती है, देन ऑल्सो द पर्सन इज नॉट लायबल। एम आई क्लियर? अभी क्लियर है कोमल? Okay, now we'll move to the specific torts. So the first tort is a tort of trespass. क्या होता है trespass? सिंपल टर्म्स में बताइए मेरे को। So trespass is basically entering into someone's property without permission. आपने कई बार कॉलोनीज में देखा भी होगा कि ट्रेसपासर्स शैल बी प्रोसिक्यूटेड के बोर्ड लगे रहते हैं. Now, so entering into someone's property is trespass basically. अब trespass भी जो है वो दो टाइप का होता है, trespass to person and trespass to property. तो trespass to property तो मैंने आपको बता ही दिया, trespass to person भी एक चीज होता है. So trespass to property, अगर किसी की प्रॉपर्टी में अनलॉफुली एंटर करना है तो trespass to person क्या होगा, unlawfully touching someone. It's as simple as that, right? So suppose now trespass जो है, trespass to property जो होता है, उसके लिए इंटेंशन इज नॉट नेसेसरी. Am I clear? Trespass to property के लिए intention is not necessary. What is necessary is that the person has entered into someone's property or not without their permission. Now, trespass to property में ये चीज आपको याद रखनी कि इंटेंशन इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. So can there be a situation, suppose आपके पास एक डॉग है और आप उस डॉग को घुमा रहे हैं रोड पे, सडनली वो डॉग किसी के घर में एंटर कर गया, अब उसको लेने के लिए आप उसके पीछे पीछे उस घर में गए. The moment you enter into someone's property without permission, it would amount to trespass. So इस सिचुएशन में क्या trespass होगा या नहीं होगा? अरे होगा, but we won't be sued for that. Why, Prarthi?
So because we're just going there to get our dog, right?
हाँ, but still you could have rang the bell.
Okay.
Right. Now suppose also in trespass, what is important, trespass to property, what is also interesting and important to understand is if that a person may enter into the property lawfully, but his stay later on can become unlawful. Is that a possibility कि आप enter तो lawfully करें लेकिन आपका stay जो है वो बाद में unlawful हो जाए? Is it even possible? Yes, class. Yes, it is possible. Give me an example. Give me an example, class. Okay, very right. Yes, so अगर मान के लिए आपने रेंट पे नहीं किया है तो आपका रेंट अनलॉफ, तो आपका स्टे जो है वो अनलॉफुल हो गया, वेरी राइट. अनदर सिंपल सिचुएशन गेट बी, फॉर एग्जांपल आप मूवी देखने गए. आप मूवी देखने गए, आपने एक शो का टिकट लिया, और बट आपने उस शो के अलावा, आप जब आपका मूवी खत्म हो गया, आप बाहर नहीं निकले और वहीं बैठे रहे. सो इन दैट सिचुएशन आल्सो इट्स अ ट्रेसपास. सपोज there is a postman. Now let's take up an example. Suppose there is a postman, and the postman, and there was a post box out at the door of the at the main gate of your house. The postman did not see it, and the postman entered into the house. Will this amount to trespass? Yes. Okay. The reason being, yes, he entered into a property despite there being a post office outside the at the gate. Now, suppose there is a registered letter that the postman has come to deliver. घर के बाहर अभी भी एक पोस्ट ऑफिस है, पोस्ट बॉक्स है जिसमें वो डाल सकते हैं, लेकिन he did not. He entered the house and gave you the registered letter. Now, will this still amount to trespass? Okay. The answer to my question is that no, that postman would not be liable for trespass. Why? Because it was a registered letter. The difference between a registered letter and a normal letter is that in a registered letter, you have to seek the signature of the person to whom it is sent. So to get the signature, one has to enter into the property without any hesitation and without any prohibition. So he did so, and that is the reason why that offense of trespass or the tort of trespass cannot be attracted. Yes, class. Is it clear? इसको ऐसे भी समझ सकते हैं जैसे कुरियर आता है तो सिग्नेचर लेके जाता है ना कुरियर वाला. तो उसको अंदर आना ही पड़ेगा. या फिर वो बैल बुझा के आपको बाहर बुलाएगा. सो वट एवर द केसेस. एम आई क्लियर? Now, let's take another situation. मेरा मेरा बर्थडे था, मैंने एक पार्टी थ्रो करी and I invited everyone. Now, party was going fine and suddenly there was a verbal altercation that took place between me and another friend of mine, and I asked him to vacate the premises immediately, but he did not leave. Can I sue him for trespass? Can I file a case of trespass against him? No. Why, Komal? Because you invited him. Why, Prarthi? Why? Yes, Prarthi. Okay. Now, his entry in the party is very valid. But when you asked him to leave, and then he didn't leave, that is when his stay at your property has become unlawful. And at that moment, he has committed trespass, right? So when you have asked someone to come and you have overstayed your welcome, basically, then also it can amount to trespass. Am I clear? Similarly, let's imagine another situation. Suppose you invited everyone to party at your house. Everyone was sitting in the drawing room. आपने drawing room में उन सबको बिठाया, drawing room में बैठे हुए थे. Now, कोई व्यक्ति उठ के वहां से बेडरूम में चला जाता है. Will this amount to trespass? No, it will amount to trespass because the stay was restricted to drawing room or to the living room. if it can be justified that, for example, there was no washroom in the living room and the only washroom that he could use was available in the bedroom, then it may be justified. Otherwise, it would still amount to trespass. So the law of trespass is very clear. I have set the boundaries, you cannot cross them. Right? So this is what trespass to property is. Right? In the next class, we'll continue with trespass to person, which comprises of 3 torts: assault, battery, and false imprisonment. Any doubt, confusion? Fine. So we'll stop here, and in the next class, we'll start with trespass to person, where intention is important. Right? So that's all from my side. Thank you.